Hi everyone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the
This
Tarot Times. I've forgotten which number. Which number are we on?
is the
What
10th
number?
edition.
The 10th edition of the Tarot Times. So, yeah, you're going to have a good one today, I think, because
It means we've missed a couple because it's a year ago since we started.
yeah,
So really, it should be 12, shouldn't it? But
yeah, should
never
be.
mind.
But we've got a good lineup for you folks, I think. So
There's
we're
loads
going to be doing our usual format. So we're going to be going through indie, mass market, Kickstarter decks. We are going to be then going on to reviewing our deck of the month, which is the Good Karma Tarot. And then we'll do our points and everything, our actual review, and yeah, just wait and see what we think of it.
And we've got a giveaway.
Oh yes, we've got a giveaway at the end, which is our the Harmony Tarot, which we reviewed on the last Tarot Times. So we're all geared up and we'll be picking a number, and that will tell us who has won the deck. We've actually got 3 copies to give away this month.
That's a record.
It is. I'm notoriously, I like everything, but Elle has given hers, Simon's given his, and I actually ended up with 2 copies because of Amazon, and I ended up keeping one. So I'm giving away one of mine. So
have you seen there seems to be a new edition of that, because the box has changed in new promotional videos. It's like a small, it's a small purple box now. So we might be giving away the first edition worth hundreds of pounds.
Well, I might change my mind. Might hold on to it.
The one we're giving away is a small purple box.
No. This is like a tarot box size small box.
So the size of the one we're giving away is it's kind of like as if you had 2 cards side by side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we might be giving away something that is first edition. How about that then?
Yeah, and there's 3 chances, and I've noticed that Sandra is in the chat. She didn't know she was going to get back in time, but if you don't mind, Sandra, if you're around at the end, if you can, Elle will give you a range of numbers. If you can choose 3 numbers for us, that would be great.
So let's kick off. We've got our Elle is up first with our first deck, which is the Cosmovisions.
Yes, the Cosmovisions. Well, I said that by James R. Eads. It's out on order, up for order now. I just ordered mine yesterday. He says, I created this oracle to tell one story of what may happen in the space between lives, reimagined upon the structure of the traditional 78 tarot. I spent years thinking about creating a companion deck to Prism Visions, a continuation of the story we all know so well. Now, after nearly 2 years of researching, drawing, rendering, redrawing and writing, I think I have made a worthy companion to the Prism Visions. So the cards are printed with highest quality inks on durable cardstock and finished with matte UV varnish and edged in labradorite blue edges. Ooh!
And you've ordered that deck, haven't you?
Oh yeah, with the matching bag, the bookmark, the extra 6 cards, the extra 22 cards. Oh, I went for it.
Full out for it.
Oh yeah, right out for it.
Did I see it's got green gilding as well on that picture?
Labradorite blue edging.
That's unusual though. It's nice.
Yeah.
What's labradorite blue edging?
I suppose that flash of blue that you get, like a bit labradorite always reminds me of like an oil slick, and you get that kind of in a lot of Labradorite pieces, there's like that flash of blue, isn't there? So I'd imagine it's going to be really sort of shimmery. And
Like
I have seen
holographic
quite a
type.
few, yeah, I've seen quite a few walkthroughs of it, but I tend not to watch a lot of them because I backed it on Kickstarter and then had to pull out.
Oh,
It was a
Well, you
difficult
did.
time of the month.
No. Oh, but it looks nice though. But I haven't got either of the other decks, so
I have.
you know, you have.
Yeah, and I've got the portals, open portals. I've got the only thing I haven't got is, well, obviously this Oracle deck now, but I didn't have the green glyphs, Lenormand. But I do. I think his artwork is incredible. When I used to have my wall hanging, do you remember my wall hanging with the slats?
Yeah.
Put in the Cosmic Visions tarot on that, where they all kind of line up. It just looked amazing.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm up next, and I've got a Kickstarter deck, which is the Mystic Gnome, which is quite cute. I don't know if you've got the pictures. Oh, there it is. It does. Oh, it looks cute actually laid out like that. So this is a RWS kind of base deck, which is going to be printed on 350 GSM white core cardstock. So it's that really tough stuff with a core in it. And it's also got a linen finish as well. You could even choose your preferred card style for the way you read them, upright or reversed. And you can get a special edition card from the upcoming Mystic Gnome Oracle deck as well. So that's quite a nice thing. You can get all sorts of add-ons with it. You can even get a Mystic Gnome pillow, Mystic Gnome calendar. Yeah, you name it, Mystic Gnome, and you can get it. So yeah, it's really cute deck. She's been reading tarot for 30 years, the creator, and she decided to start creating her own deck, starting with the Mystic Gnomes, whose silent but mysterious ways will guide us to answers that we seek.
Ooh.
So it's quite cute, I think.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I was looking at the pictures, and that one that you just said it was probably one of the best ones to see a lot of the cards, but I'm not quite sure. The gnome looks the same in every card, just wearing a different colour kind of cape. But it's fun and it's quirky. Do gnomes wear capes?
I don't know. Well, I suppose a gnome's a gnome, isn't it? You know, one's got a green beard, one's got a red one. What more do you want?
I suppose I wanted a gnome with a fishing rod, or, you know, like in the garden gnomes. I was expecting it to be a bit like garden gnomes.
Well, look, the wands, I suppose the wands technically look a bit like a fishing rod. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway,
cute.
so that, yeah, be nice for maybe a child, or a child's first deck or something like that. It'd be cute, I think.
Yeah.
So next up, we got our Simon.
Oh, so I'm actually doing the next three because as we were talking earlier and going through them, I've got kind of like copies of them, so it made sense. So the first one is the abstract art, and this is sticking with the Kickstarter theme. The abstract Heart Oracle Initiation, and it's by Alexander Speaks. It's actually the last video that I've got up on my channel, but it's a 79 card deck based conceptually partly on Robert Plutchik. I think I'm saying that right. Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions, and partly color-based theory as well, and it is applied to abstract art. I'll show some of the cards actually rather than just showing a picture, because the idea is that it's balance between light and shadow even within the cards. This copy here is just I don't mean just, but it's a make playing cards version. But just to give an idea, and he sent it to me so that I could, do a walkthrough of it. But it will come on 400 GSM cardstock, high quality soft matte finish, a deep matte blue edge as well on the edges of the cards. The box will be soft deluxe matte, and there'll be a 230 page guidebook as well. I guess you have to love or appreciate abstract art. I've never been a huge fan of art that just appears and it's kind of like just shapes, and people say, "Oh, look at this! It's amazing." I just sit there thinking all I can see is shapes. But what I love about this deck is the fact that there are keywords on it. And it has things like appalled, or detestable. It really does have that balance of light and dark, and it deals with things like disappointment or loathing. So I really like it, and you'll see if you check out the Hermit's Cave. I did do a walkthrough of it, but and I talk about it a lot more there. So that's the Abstract Heart Oracle that's on Kickstarter. I think there's still about 30 something days left on that. The next one I'm going to talk about is Moonbaby Tarot by our... I think we've got some fans in the room here. Yeah, and this, again, I said I'd talk about it because I had Brant on. I was the only one out of three of us, which surprised me, who's actually got the hoi polloi, which this is based on. So Brant from the channel Moonbaby has taken this deck, he's recolored it. You can see some of the colours here. There's lots of pinks and greens and purples. It's got a really lovely colour palette. But it's that deck that we all know and love, the hoi polloi, which is trying to get a good copy of that now. You're looking at 3 figures before you even, it's, if you can get it less than that, it'll be a miracle. So Brant has already smashed it. He is 4 times past. So it's like 400%. I think last time I looked, he was at like $20,000 that he's got back in this project. And I think his aim was 5,000. So yeah, amazing. So that's out. Oh, and he's in the room as well. Woohoo. So yeah, and again, if you want to see those cards, I've got a chat with Brant, and he shows every single card in that chat. And then the last one, looking at my notes, we swapped everything around this morning, and now I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Is the New Chapter Tarot. Now, I know this is out already in the States, but it's not out in the UK until the 4th of May. I was sent, and it just feels like it's been out forever. And when we was looking at Sandra's research, was like, that can't be new, but it is. It's released on the 4th of May. And the guys over at Liminal 11 was very kind to send me an advance copy. And I've had this deck for, I want to say, about a month, maybe a little bit more now, maybe about 6 weeks. But it's really nice. I really like the colours. The cards are a nice size. They're quite small, actually. They're not a full tarot size. They're a little bit small. But the artwork is beautiful in it. So it says the new chapter is a story, a journey, a self-portrait of change. And the creator really does kind of bare her soul with this deck. Faced with the realization that her relationship was coming to an end, Catherine Briggs' entire life was either at an either or moment. She was an immigrant on a marriage visa with no professional contacts and not much in the way of community back home. She was prepared to blow up her entire life, ? To risk what she known for what could be. And then she created, because art was her outlet, she created this this tarot based on her experiences of having to start again, start new chapters in our lives. And it really is, when you read about her story, it really is a powerful or tarot deck. Just trying to see if is there a glare. Hopefully you can see these images. So everybody in the or lots of the archetypes in the tarot decks are people that were personal to her in her life. So the Queen of Swords is the friend who offered the shoulder for her to cry on, etc. The Six of Discs is the adopted cat who helped her feel rooted and home. Strength is the friend she hadn't seen in 20 years, but who had also returned to the strange place they were from, what they both felt that they belonged. And each card of the New Chapter Tarot is a meditation in paint. I love that, a meditation in paint. And the whole deck represents new life, a circle of hope, friendship, and love.
Oh.
Beautiful. Why is everybody laughing at Elle?
I was on our account and I said, "Go Bronte Poo," and it's on the tarot times.
Yeah, Bronte Poo. But it's all right. So, what have we got next? So next, I think we've got Elle. You're up again
with the Tarot Vintage by A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith.
I was going to say, I thought, blimey.
Which will be out on the 25th of May by Lo Scarabeo. Welcome to the long journey into the essence of tarot, an age-old feeling for something eternal. A deck that creates a comfortable and elegant space for every form of reading, with the deep simplicity of the tarot designed by Arthur Edward Waite and illustrated by Pamela. I keep wanting to say Nicole. Pamela Coleman Smith. 78 full color tarot cards. Oh yeah, and instructions. So yeah, is it just like a slightly centennialized, but even more bashed up version?
Well, the thing is, for me, I think it's going to be more like Pam's Vintage, by My Lucky Card, Real. Yeah, there are so many RWS decks coming out at the moment, either by US Games or Lo Scarabeo, aren't they? And there's lots of different versions, but I guess this is the mass market version. When I was looking for images, I couldn't really find any because they're keeping a lot back, so that's why I showed the box. But for me, I think it's going to be very much like this one, which is the Pam's Vintage.
Yeah.
And I think this came out originally as a little mini deck, didn't it? And then
yeah, I've got that. I've got the poker size edition of that one. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I like the backs on it, the rose and lilies on the backs. I like that they've kept that. No.
Oh, now I've made a mess.
Can't have that.
I'll sort it out later.
And yeah, Elle, you've got the other one as well.
Am I up again? Oh, okay. Well, the Rainbow Kipper is next. It's by Tony Puhle. I don't want to butcher the name. And illustrator is Stephen Bright. How do you say it?
I said I love the way you spelt it out.
What did I do?
You went Puhle.
Tradition and contemporary art merged in this is art merge of contemporary something. Well, there's a typo there, but this is a blend of modern and tradition. There's a typo in here. That explore your day-to-day environment with the rainbow kipper and never be confused regarding what events will occur. I've got all the cheesy write-ups, haven't I? Each of the 36 cards is described in the accompanying handbook, delving into people, movement, connectors, and cause and effect. This inventive journey follows the first colour-coded 36 card kipper deck created with the reader in mind to forge predictive accuracy at first glance. And clusters of colour allow you to detect situations that will arise without complex reading techniques and make it simple for you to spot every area of importance in a reading. Ooh, I like the colour aspect of that.
I know zero about kipper. I have a kipper deck, but I don't know how to read with it.
I had one kipper deck and I gave it away. I gave it to Hen, which was the Finder Siege by Chero Marchetti.
I've got the mystical kipper.
But Stephen Bright is the creator behind the Spirit Within. Is that right? Spirit Within? Tarot. Very similar art style, isn't it? With the silhouette type images. So I love that. That picture with the mask. What is it? Dishonesty.
Dishonesty, yeah.
So cool with the colours. That actually makes me want to pick up and learn kipper almost.
Yeah, but I highly recommend Spirit Within Tarot as well, because it uses the same sort of colours and silhouettes, and yeah, it's great. You can project, who you want onto those silhouettes, whether it's yourself or other people.
Was that the one I saw Chris doing his readings with the other night?
I think Chris has got it.
Yeah, with just silhouettes, because I really like the look of that.
Yeah.
So that's all our decks, all our mass market Kickstarters and indie. Not a great deal was there this time, but some nice gems in there.
Yeah, I mean we've done. I think we've just reviewed about 8, haven't we? And they are featured, so I know people will often say, "Well, you didn't mention this deck or that deck." It's impossible, really. And it's Sandra who does the research to find every deck that might be coming out, and she sends us this a week or sometimes 2 weeks in advance. So, it's and some of them, sometimes Sandra will send us quite a lot, and we have to strip them back as well. So we tend to do no more than 3 each, otherwise we'll be here for quite a while.
Yeah. So that's that bit. Now we've got a little bit of tarot news, not a huge amount.
I jumped the gun.
Pardon?
I jumped the gun and went straight into the review section.
Hold your horses. So the only bit of news we got really is that Little Red Tarot, well, little news, it's big news for a lot of us. Little Red Tarot is back open again, but from what we can see, they are in the future only going to be stocking LGBTQ plus decks and decks by creators of color. So Beth is really kind of making it quite a unique shop, really, in that respect. So it's going to be the place to go if you're looking for a queer-based deck or to support creators of color, which I think is really good.
There's a thing about Europe, though, isn't there?
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, you said about that she's not shipping to anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, it's just wild. I don't know how far into the future that's going to be, but there's so much uncertainty at the moment, isn't there? Since Brexit, about costs of taxes and all that sort of thing. So she made the decision that she won't ship to Europe at the moment.
Yeah, which is fair enough, I guess. Right, drum roll.
What, the Tara meetup?
No, I'd forgotten about that, but yes. Just another reminder that the UK Tarot meetup dates are the 14th of August for our Glastonbury shenanigans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is still chance that you could come if you wanted to, but I would imagine that Glastonbury is getting pretty chock-a-block with bookings now. So, unless you've got a tent or something like that, you don't mind sleeping in, you can still come and meet us lot if you fancy it.
I would still say try, because I think some people are having to cancel accommodation as well. You had Elaine on last night, didn't you? Who's having to cancel her trip, and perhaps people that were coming overseas may have had to cancel hotels and things. But there's also a huge travel lodge which is like 1 mile outside of the city. Tell where I live. 1 mile outside of the town of Glastonbury. You stayed there last year, didn't you, Elle? And it wasn't too much of a apart from when you got lost that day, but it wasn't too much of a trauma for you to stay just outside Glastonbury either. And they're quite reasonably priced. So
you got lost
in the dark?
No, in the morning. I mean, me and Sandra was
Oh, that was torture. That was torture. That was worse than the night one.
She went out the hotel and walked the wrong way.
That was hideous. I couldn't find him for hours.
And was on the phone like, tell me what you can see. She's like, well, a van's just gone past advertising such and such. Well, that's not going to help.
I see a field. I see a cow.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Oh dear. Well, at least you got a bit of extra sightseeing in, I suppose.
Yeah, good lot of vans.
She saw the rural part of Glastonbury.
Yeah, the back streets. The bins. She saw the bins around the back of places.
Yeah. I had to stop and stick my head in the well for a drink. Oh, I walked past that 3 times. Wait, is that drinkable?
Apparently, not only like sips, not like guzzling it. Well, you're all right. You're still here.
Only just. Am I okay?
I see Gigi saying, will you broadcast the whole thing live, please, for us that can't come? I think there will be some lives from there. We won't be able to broadcast the whole thing.
I always vlog, and there was an 1.5-hour vlog of the trip last year. So you'll get to see it if you can't come. And yeah, we usually go live from the top of the tour on the early Sunday morning and stuff like that. But
I think Richard said he wants to do a live on the Friday night. So there'll be that too, I think.
Okay.
So there'll be chances for if you can't come. I'm sure there'll be. Yeah. Right, so that's the end of our news. So now we're on to our deck review.
We'll just drop the deck, hold on.
Yeah, so did I. That's what I was fishing around for. I dropped the whole thing on the floor, more or less. So, we pick my thing up.
Oh.
Ooh, hello.
So I don't know how many people have got this. When did it came out? Very recently, didn't it? Like in the last month in the UK, anyway.
Yeah, it's brand spanking new. I think. Yeah, it just says 2021, but it only became available the last month, so it's brand new.
Who wants to go first with what they think?
I don't mind this time if you want.
Yeah, go on.
So this is where we do our favourite cards and our least favourite cards. So you get to see some of the cards as well. Then we do the 10 category rating system. So let me. So favourite cards. And whilst I'm probably jumping ahead, not that enamoured on the art style. Some cards that I like the Lovers. I think that's quite a nice card. I love how one's holding that flame of passion, and then you've got somebody that's holding an apple, and kind of nods back to the Lovers that we see in like the RWS, which is depicting Adam and Eve with the apple. Strength, I really like. I love that the lion is a tattoo across the back, you know, denoting that sort of strength coming from within outward. I quite like the Death card. I like the King of Wands. I just really like the fact that it got a little pocket, and on his pocket here you've got the fiery flames. The Two of Cups I like, and I also love the 10 of Cups. I think that's a lovely kind of modern family. Cards that I didn't like, or like the least, the 7 of Cups. Now this is a beginner's guide, so the Good Karma Tarot is a beginner's guide to reading the tarot, and the idea is that the images are simple, which they are, and you should be able to learn the tarot quite quickly. And maybe it's just because I learnt the tarot using RWS, but some cards like this, you know, with somebody just laying in a meadow looking wistfully up at 7 empty cups, doesn't really give me the 7 of Cups vibe. Similarly with the 10 of Swords, when I first saw this card, I thought, oh, I quite like that depiction, rather than having somebody, you know, down on the ground. But again, if you're learning about the tarot and then you're thinking about what the 10 of Swords represents, I'm not sure you'd pick that up if this was a beginner's, and the sky's all blue and fluffy clouds, and it doesn't give me the same vibe. I just didn't like the High Priestess card. I don't know why. I just thought it was a little bit cheesy, gimmicky. The 3 of Wands, I just don't know what that's about, really. I get that she's looking out, but she's just standing there, the wind blowing in her hair. Don't get the 3 of Wands vibe for that. And then the Hermit. Sorry?
Windy up her end.
Windy up her end. And then the Hermit. Yeah, okay, she's at home in her safe space, but she's just sitting in the window with a candle lit, and it just didn't give me. I always, obviously, the Hermit is one of those cards that I look out for, and it has to be special.
Yeah. Shall I go next?
Sure.
Okay, so I've got quite a few favourites. I liked the Death card because it reminded me of the goddess Hel, and I think it showed really nicely the death and life and the flowers around the top, you know, representing rebirth and new life arriving as well. I love the Empress card. I just think that's a really pretty depiction of the Empress. You've got the representation of the wheat and everything. It gave me really nice maternal kind of nurturing vibes, that card. I also love the 2 of Cups. I like the fact that it's what appears to be a same-sex couple. I really like that aspect of it, or at least it could be. Also, I liked the moon card. I loved the fact that she has the crayfish. Sorry, I've got a bit of glare from the window. The crayfish as a tattoo on her arm coming up out of the water, and the fact that she's got a finger on her lips as well. That mystery of the moon. I like that, and I like the aces. Some of the aces are really pretty too. The Ace of Cups was pretty, and I also like the Temperance card. Again, there's a lot of beautiful colour in it, but I just like the overall art style of them. In the images, that there's no real gender to them. I really like that aspect of it. My least favorite cards was I was a bit disappointed with the sun card. It's nice. You've got a big sun on there, but I would have liked to have seen some characters, some people on there, kind of expressing their pleasure at being, in the sun and all things good type of thing. And I wasn't a huge fan of the Judgment card. She looks rather kind of like smug at that. She looks a bit smug at that angel, like about to, dish out whatever. So yeah, I wasn't keen on that. And yeah, so those are my favourites and least favourites.
Oh,
So, my favourites, like Becca, is the Death card, because it reminded me of hell, and that was a surprise. I didn't expect them to pull that kind of imagery, because it's all very stripped back, and doesn't really have any obvious like context behind a card, or like any deep significant. It doesn't like draw upon religion or mythology or anything like that much. So it was really interesting to see that in the deck. I like. Yeah, I can't. It's like they've really updated some of the. We can still see hints of the RWS, but more modern times. People with tattoos are represented, which is fun. It's you don't see many people with tattoos in tarot decks. And I thought this was a really nice depiction of the Eight of Pentacles. I'm not really a fan of the mages in terms of the kings and queens, because they're just kind of people holding a sword or a cup or whatnot. So those are a bit lackluster, but yeah, it's not really my art style, to be honest. So I wasn't like bowled over, but it's alright.
did you notice as well that the tattoo that appears is the same tattoo that they've all got? It's the same pattern. It's almost like a pattern's been designed that looks like a tattoo, and every time there's somebody with a tattoo, it's the same pattern.
Although I'm going to take issue with that, because there was the crayfish for the moon, and also the Empress card. I don't know if you notice on her tattoo is actually a pomegranate.
Yeah, but I think that appears I'll grab some cards in a minute. I'm like, if they've got like the tattooed sleeve.
Oh yeah.
Not that one with objects on, like the crayfish, because that's representing. But if there's the tattooed sleeve, like in the Lovers, and it appears all the way through the same pattern design.
Yeah, I see
It's
what
so
you
cool.
mean.
So the 10-point review then, packaging. What do we think to packaging?
quite sturdy. It's a nice, thick, sturdy box. I thought it's two part. And I I'm not a huge fan of decks being split into two in there, but the inlay is solid plastic. So it's hard plastic, which is quite nice. But it's thick. It's a really nice thick box.
Yeah. I give it a 3 out of 5 because it is a nice sturdy box. I don't mind too much if they're split into two because we're going to get a big guidebook, because it's the way to be able to get a big guidebook, isn't it? It's quite it's 2-part, so it's easy to get into. Packaging is quite nice, so I give it a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3, but it's got no finger holes or anything. Like, you really got to dig this thing out to get it out. And when the cards are sitting in the plastic thing, let's see if it'll do it. You have to flip the box upside down to get them all, because it has got finger things there, but if you try and grab for all the cards, and no matter what, you can't get the last few, so you've always got to. So they're not the most accessibly friendly boxes, but I mean, yeah, 3, it all does the job.
I've just had a message from Stephanie asking us to repeat again the day for the Glastonbury meetup. It's the 14th of August.
So I mean, yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 for packaging, because I think it's a nice box. It's not one of those flimsy boxes that you can get with some tarot decks. Yeah, presentation's really nice as well, so I'm going to give it a 4 for that.
The book, as Becca would say.
Luke in the book.
So I quite like the layout of the book. I like the fact that you get some nice big colour images for your majors. They do go to thumbnails for the minors, but the information is still the same. You get a lot of information. It's on matte paper, which is quite nice because you get to see the images in matte because the cards are gloss. You get quite a write-up about it. It doesn't give you the artist's interpretations necessarily, but it will tell you about what the Justice card represents. But then there's a little paragraph here, which is about historically, or it will say, you know, in a classic tarot, this card will be represented of, or traditionally, this card shows a man walking away from 8 cups. Historically, so it goes back to older decks as well, and then you get a little tip at the bottom. So I scored this a 3. It's not the meatiest book, but it's as tarot guidebooks go, and the fact that this is purported to be a beginner's tarot, then I think the book aims to do that, or provide that, I should say.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I love it has a section right at the beginning of the book. So it goes through a bit about kind of like the history of the tarot, but then it's got a really nice section about debunking myths about the tarot. So for starters, you've got what can tarot do for you, and then you go on debunking myths. So like tarot is a gateway to the devil, Satanism, dark arts, and witchcraft. So she kind of goes into debunking that, and then talks about will cards predict your death, illness, or both? The thought that cards must be given to you as a gift, how you should store them, should they be stored in silk, and all those kind of questions that people might first wonder about when they pick up a tarot deck for the first time. And then also she goes into talk about the art of storytelling with a deck, that, you know, it tells a story. When all the cards are laid out, they all evolve into a picture. So I thought, for the market it's geared at, which was beginners and people that maybe don't know a lot about the tarot, I thought that was excellent. I love the fact that you've got the big color pictures. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go into a huge amount of detail, but when you think that people it's geared for are people that know nothing about it at all, they're not really going to want huge tomes of information. They just want a basic breakdown, what tarot is, how to read it. So, I mean, I thought it did a really good job of that, and it's nice quality book as well. So I'm going to give the book a 4 for me.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think this is the perfect deck of, like, the bridging deck of when you go out and someone buys a tarot deck for the first time on a complete whim. This would be that great whim deck, where, because, you know, so many decks say, oh, for tarot readers, beginner and intermediate alike, whereas when you read the book, it's like, how much if this really is for a complete and utter new beginner. It's too in depth, it strays too much or whatnot, whereas this is 100% thinking about the fresh-eyed beginner who has just thought, oh, that looks interesting, let me have a look. And yeah, it kind of addresses all the thoughts you may have or misconceptions coming into it, like Becca said, with the myths and whatnot. Yeah, it's got nice little bits within the card meanings. It's got like a quote or a tip. So it really does well in, like, trying to get the person to integrate tarot somehow into their everyday life. Like, if there's not one thing someone aligns with, they can look up a tip instead, or the quote, or the advice. Yeah, so I think I'd give it a 3.5. It's like, it's good for a beginner, or I can imagine sitting down with my little nieces and, like, having a go with them and reading it. But
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'm just going to be devil's advocate, because this is a beginner's deck, right? But just because someone is learning something or they're a beginner at something, I don't necessarily think that they have to have childish or really basic images just to be learning something. So
I think it's aimed at teenagers and youngsters, particularly teenage girls would love this, I think.
That's what I was saying when I said I'll hit the nail on the head, where she said if I was to sit down with, like, a niece or something. But, you know, if it said on it a deck for younger people or teenagers, I'd get it. But because it's a beginner's deck, I couldn't learn tarot with this deck.
Yeah, it's not.
I would be put off by the tarot with this deck. And I'm not just trashing it, but it's got its place. But this sort of artwork for me, I couldn't if I bought this as my first ever tarot deck, I don't know where I'd go from there.
Yeah, it's very one note.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I got a historical tarot deck and then something basic like the Tarot Bible to learn quickly the meanings. But I don't know, the artwork is quite youthful, I suppose.
Yeah, it's very, the way it's been designed, it's very set up and very specific in the meaning it wants to interpret. So that's why I do I would use this when doing it with my nieces and nephews, because as kids, they've got a great imagination, but it's not fully developed enough to take in all the historic and all the stuff that tarot's been layered with. Whereas for a kid to just you could just glance at it and be like, oh, that person looks upset because they've lost their cup.
I was going to say, in the back you've got a section called Tarot Talismans. So it gives you 3 cards. So it's split into different things: anxious, angry, sad, ashamed, overwhelmed, lost, and confused. And then you have 3 cards that may come up to reflect that emotion, which is quite helpful. So for instance, you've got anxious, you've got the 9 of Swords, the Moon, and Temperance come up for those 3 cards. So that's quite a nice little kind of sort of bullet point and then you can tag different cards to different emotions in your life. So I think that's quite nice too.
Yeah. Okay, point 3 is representation, isn't it? I have to give it a 5 for representation, because it is one of the best decks for, covering not just people of color, but and there are, a good, it's not tokenistic, a good 50% of this deck is people of color, or from other kind of ethnic backgrounds. But also, the fact that it's good for body shapes.
Yeah.
You've got people who are larger. You've got people of various ages. Where's the one I'm trying to get to? Yeah, so a younger woman and an older woman.
Oh, excuse me, I'm dropping them now.
Dropsies.
The 2 of Cups, showing, as you mentioned earlier, a same-sex couple. So in terms of diversity or representation, I think it does it really, really well. It's done naturally rather than, feeling like it's been added onto or tokenistic in any way. That's the card I was looking for, which showed. Yeah, and when you get groups of people together, you don't get 3 white people, 3 black people. You do get a varied representation, but you also get people with different skin tones. Not all the people of color have the same skin tone, and that's represented quite well in here as well. As you can perhaps see, like with these 2 cards.
Yeah.
Which I think is important, and again, it shows that it's been well thought out. So I give it a 5 for representation.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the same, because you've got, like you say, in this card you've got a person that is obviously older, but what I love the most about it, I think, is that how all the women or girls are portrayed in this. For instance, they are wearing ordinary clothes, everyday clothes, that any teenage girl might pick this deck up and literally see herself in it. And I think that is a massive leap forward for any young person, male or female, picking this deck up. They are literally going to see themselves represented in the deck. So yeah, I can't fault it. And so 5 for me, and as well for that.
Yeah, I would say there's a good it's got a good Like I'm trying to find the card. There's a few gender non-conforming people. I actually like the fact that it's modern day clothes, because then it makes things a bit more ambiguous and you're more able to see yourself in the cards, regardless of body parts and whatnot. Yeah, it's got people of colour, older people, LGBTQ people in it. I think it is all able-bodied people, but it represents a decent amount of the population and groups. So yeah, I give it a 4.
Cool. Art style.
Oh, well,
So, for
I've
art
just-
style, you're right,
sorry.
Becca.
Yeah, no, I was just picking up on something that Ellie put in there, but I'm just thinking out loud, really. When she says, I like decks with simplistic art, just me, I guess. No, it's not just you, Ellie. I don't think there's anything wrong with simple at all. I like it too.
So, talking of art, that's the next point. Point 4 is art style. It's not my art style, I've got to be honest. Having said that, there's something quite charming about it. There's lots of cards that, make me smile, make me feel quite happy. There isn't really that balance. It is a very happy vibe deck. Even the 10 of swords I mentioned, it's just an embroidery on the back of a jacket and she looks quite happy. So I give it a 2, but it's not my type of art style that I tend to go with. And had we not been reviewing this, I don't know if I'd have bought it myself.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the art style at all, because I love a variety of decks of different styles. I've got some that are so complicated you can't actually see what's going on because they've stuck just about every possible symbol onto the front of a card. When you look at the card, you think, gosh, I just want the 5 of swords. I don't want the zodiac alignment in Mars with what moon phase we're in. I just want the card. And I think it's very simple, and I don't mind the art style at all. So I'm gonna give it a 4 for me. I don't mind it at all.
I'm the same as Simon. I'm not really a fan of this kind of artwork, to be honest. I like, especially when it's humans, I like texture. I want to see hairs or scars, or I want to see like bodies that have actually been lived in. I know this is cartoon and whatnot, but yeah, some of it feels a bit not copy and paste, that's the wrong word, but it's all very neat and perfect, and it's just not really my art style, because I kind of just get that feel from this kind of art. So I give it a 2 though, like it's all nice and cohesive and whatnot. So yeah.
I think Malmor makes a good point as well. I appreciate decks with a range of people with abilities. As someone with multiple invisible and less visible disabilities, I think that abilities don't always show physically, and that's true. Some are hidden.
Yeah. Okay, point 5 is readability. I'm just conscious of time as well.
Sorry.
We've been on an hour. No, it's not you. It's all of us.
It's all your fault, Becca.
Yeah, Becca. Readability. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to read. You can pick up kind of the vibe of the deck. That said, because I kind of learnt tarot on RWS, things like, as I mentioned, the 7 of Cups and the 9 of Swords, Well, I can still read the cards. They're easy to interpret. It just depends on what you're used to. But if you're a beginner and you're picking up this deck, then I don't think you'd struggle with it. So readability, I give it a 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I think trying to remember that somebody coming at this deck will not have any previous experience of any other type of deck. I think that the way the book refers to the art of storytelling with the cards, so that's kind of asking people to bring in their intuition as well, that it's not just all about what the book says the 7 of Cups should be. So I mean, I can't not give it a 5 for readability, because I don't know how anybody that knows tarot or doesn't would not be able to put a reading, a picture together with this.
Yeah, and especially when comparing it to the Harmony Knights Tarot, this is like tenfold more readable.
Don't
And
slag
even
off that.
While she's gone, slag it off.
Sorry, I just put the light on. It's getting dark.
Even like they were both simple decks, but yeah, this it is readable. I'm like looking at the images now, and if I didn't know the meanings, my educated guess would be pretty spot on. So I guess it depends what people think of readability. Like, yeah, it gives me the basics. Does it give me anything extra? No. So maybe a 4. Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Like your highest score.
Yeah.
Individuality and uniqueness. I don't think there's that much unique about it. I've seen decks like this that are simple in style, although not done to the level of covering diversity like this creator has done. So I'm just going to go with a 3 for individuality and uniqueness. A little bit better than halfway.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way that they've tackled body shapes. You know, they're not skinny women in glamorous clothes. I love the fact that most of them have got tattoos, body art, which is really in keeping with today as well. Most people have, you know, of some sort have got something scribbled somewhere about their person. So I mean, I'm going to give it a 4 for that.
Yeah, I've seen this. I feel like I've seen this deck a good few times before. I mean, what ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. But in terms of uniqueness, give it a 2. Yeah.
Okay. Card stock. I've got to be honest. I hate this card stock.
Do you?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel. And I know this deck isn't an expensive deck, but you know when it's heavy gloss, and it just feels. It doesn't feel. It feels. I don't. I'm trying to avoid saying the word cheap. Why don't I just say it? It feels a little bit cheap. But it wasn't an expensive deck. But this is like my least favorite card stock ever. So I can only give card stock a 2.
I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind a lamination, and the fact that it is cheap and it is laminated means that you don't have to be too precious about it. If you do spill drink over it or drop it in the whatever, it's going to come out of it pretty unscathed, I think. It's not the thinnest. It's not like Llewellyn, which is much thinner and still glossy and more expensive. You know, you get a chunky deck with this. So it's not bad. I don't mind it at all. I'll give it a 4.
4?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's It shuffles nicely. Shuffles, it's nice.
Okay. I mean, sort of does the job. The edges are so dry. It feels. I don't like it. I feel like I need like a hand thing every time. It's so dry. I've never this is unusually dry. The edges.
I think it's because and this is what I was trying to say, and I wasn't putting it into words when I was trying to say cheap. You know, I've often referred to it as like cornflake packet. It's like the cornflake packet cardboard that's laminated.
Yeah.
So the edges still feel that sort of cheap kind of card, but it feels glossy either side because it's laminated.
Yeah.
To me, this doesn't feel any different to Llewellyn cardstock.
Oh, it's completely
what?
Completely different to Llewellyn.
It's thicker than Llewellyn.
This is thicker than Llewellyn, yeah, but Llewellyn's got like a silkier finish, whereas this is sticky lamination.
It's not sticky. There is no stick in this whatsoever. It shuffles. It doesn't stick together.
It's sticky.
Yeah, that's only because you got sweat. Mine's not sticky. What have you been doing? Your fingers to make it sticky. What's wrong with you?
It's sticky.
It riffles. I mean, but yeah, it's all clumpy and dry. I need to put this down. It's making my hands dry.
Clumpy, Al. Would that be like sticky?
Is yours sticky? Al, is your deck sticky? To the touch?
Yeah.
Be honest.
That's yeah. It's
Mine
like
doesn't
that
feel sticky.
yucky restaurant, like those yucky cafe menus.
I don't eat
grubby hands.
You've both not been washing your hands enough. That's all I can say.
I've washed my hands that much that I found an old nightclub stamp from 1994. Anyway, moving on. The backs. Actually, you both asked me earlier, what do you think to the backs? And I'm like, meh. They're all right. I mean, it's a happy colour. Yellow is a happy colour, but it's just, I don't know. They're okay. I'll go with 3.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Being generous.
Generous, yeah.
I don't mind these backs, and I'll tell you why. Because there is a really expensive brand called Orla Kelly that you can buy, home furnishings, that has more or less exactly the same print for the design on the Orla Kelly stuff, particularly the back as well. So, just saying. But
Horses put. So, giveaway next month.
I don't mind it. I think it's pretty. It's not just got the one tone of yellow on there. I don't mind it at all. You're too miserable. I'll give it 4.
Listen, the reason why we do this is because it's three different voices, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
2 generations, and we're all gonna have completely different views, and that's why it works. If it was just one person reviewing it, it's one person's opinion. But by having us 3,
yeah,
it'd be boring if we always agreed. So,
although you and I are exactly the same generation, but even then there's like different.
I said 2 generations, yeah. So, what do you think to the backs, Al?
They just remind me of something your mum would have in a cupboard. I can imagine Val having like a casserole dish with this exact.
She does. She does. And kitchen mugs hanging on a peg.
See, that's why I like it, because I like shabby chic and vintage, you see, and that reminds me of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for the Val factor that she's got it, I mean, I've got to give it a 4. No, this is awful. It's 2. No, 2.
2. Okay, Jackie said, Becca's cars look more glossy and shiny than Simon and Elle's.
Yeah, and they're not sticky either, Jackie.
You've
God
been
knows
rubbing
what
them
these
too
two
much.
have done. I do not know what they've done to make the deck sticky. My mind is
them
boggling
raw.
right now.
Right. So number 9, we're getting there. Value for money. So the price point. So it retails in the UK at £19.99. I did get mine a little bit cheaper than that, but that's what's printed actually on the box. I think I paid £16 something. So bringing everything in, you know, the box, the packaging, the book, for less than 20 quid, I think I'll give it a 4. I'll be quite generous there. I think for the dollar, it's quite a good kit.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, I think we have reviewed cheaper decks, but I still think for what you're getting, it's nice. So I'm going to give it a 4 for that.
Chris has put, Elle is like the English teacher that never gives an A, while Becca gives everyone a gold star just for showing up.
Right, Chris. Honestly,
That's the best. I love it.
cheeky bastard.
What's the question again?
Price point, value for money.
I paid 15 quid. The Harmony Nice Tarot have nicer card stock. It's alright. Give it a 3. I mean, it's alright.
Yeah. That leaves the final one, which is the wow factor. I wasn't wowed. It's a 1 from me.
Well, I'm gonna. I mean, whatever I say now, it just appears that I just say nice things just because the deck actually arrived from Amazon. So, it's here. I'm giving it a 5. It turned, the deck turned up. What else can I say? Okay, I will admit it doesn't have like a revolutionary aura about it, but I like it, and you know that might be down to my simple mind, but I'm going to give it a 3 for me.
Okay. And yourself, Al? This isn't where we show our. Just
Put your pen down.
Number 10, wow factor.
1.5.
1.5. I love how you put halves in there. All right. So this is the bit where you guys find out whether we're going to put our decks up for the giveaway next month. So if we score it 5 or below, then it automatically goes into the giveaway for the next Tarot Times. So I've written my score down, and this is out of 10 now. This is just scores out of 10. Yeah. So have you done yours, Becca?
Yeah.
So are we about to reveal? We ready?
Hang on.
That was a no.
I was ready. I was just preoccupied by the chat, but I'm in now. I'm ready.
Right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 5, 5, 8.
What
So
paper is that?
It's an owl.
You are?
Oh, sweet.
Sticky notes. It's sticky notes.
So there will be 2 copies of the Good Karma Tarot being given away on the next Tarot Times.
Ooh, lucky
So,
piece.
Becca, what's next?
Oh, now next will be quite a popular one, I think. Next month we are going to be reviewing, and I didn't have it to hand. What?
There's
What?
the clue.
Oh yeah, giveaway. We're giving away the decks next. I knew that. The Harmony Tarot. So we come now to the moment where we pick 3 names out of the imaginary hat.
Sandra, are you still here? can you give us a yes if you're still in the chat? 'Cause I know we've gone a little bit over time. If you let us know if you're still here. I guess 5, 6, 8. Oh wow, you was close then, Ellie. It was 5, 5, 8.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandra's here. So, Elle, have you got the number range?
I do indeed. It's 1 to 11. So
1 to 11. Wow. So those 11 people who entered have got a good chance because there's 3 decks to give away. So, Sandra, do you want to give us the first number? What between 1 and 11? The suspense.
The suspense is palpable in the room.
6 is the number. Who is number 6, Al?
Holly K.
Holly K. So you've got a copy of the Harmony Tarot. Next number, Sandra. That was bang in the middle, wasn't it?
Come on, Sandra. You can do
Elevator
it.
music at the minute.
There's about a 20-second delay though, isn't there, with StreamYard?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, two.
Oh, it hasn't even appeared on mine yet. Oh, there it is. So who's
Colour
number
the world.
Colour the World. Colour the World, you've won a copy. And the final copy then. Drum roll, Sandra. Drum roll, Sandra. You know.
Like, she's probably sat at home now.
I'm number 13. You don't tell people, Laurie.
10.
10. Who's number 10?
The Kestrel.
Oh, V. Kestrel.
Yay! Yay! Oh, that's cool.
Brilliant. So that's all 3 decks given away. So how do we do this to get in touch?
Well, either message you or me or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Message one of us.
Because normally there's just one being given away. We've never done this, is it? Yeah. So message one of us if you're in either Becca's group or the Hermit's Cave group. You'll be able to find us. Yeah.
Or an email. My email's underneath my YouTube channel. You can email there, or Hermit's Cave. You've got one underneath your channel as well, haven't you?
And then we'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one, our next Tarot Times, we are going to be reviewing, and I think this will be a popular one with folks. We are going to be reviewing the White Newman Tarot by Liminal 11. And that is going to be Saturday, the 29th of May. Look at that, May.
I know, halfway through the year.
Halfway through year. I don't know. So yeah, the White Newman.
On Saturday.
I've got that already. Simon's still waiting for his exclusive early copy.
Well, all right, Becca.
I'm just saying.
Just to say a couple of thank yous. Thank you to Sandra, as always, for doing the research. And also thank you to Jen for posting the links. And thank you for the mods who are in here helping out. So
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Smash in.
So that's it then, folks.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.